Hey everybody, so no reverts, right? So I have been streaming for the last half hour, but unfortunately it didn't connect to Twitch. And since I don't have a super active, since I don't typically have a super active chat room, I didn't notice that. But it looks like I'm streaming now. Um, so I could revert the save state, but nothing super interesting happened in that half hour, so we'll just keep pushing forward. I beat Lieutenant Surge, and I did catch a Mew, which I guess would be a big deal if this game wasn't so freaking wild and crazy. But yeah, so now we are in the game corner. We're trying to get the Sylph Scope so we can go to Lavender Town, do Pokemon Tower, get the stuff. Go to Lavender Town, go to Pokemon Tower, get the Poke Flute, and all that other stuff. Okay, I need the lift key to run the elevator, but that's not the lift key. This is that part of the game where you hit 20 items and you're just like, I guess I gotta pitch some stuff. Yeah, didn't even record a backup of that first stream. Still not recording a backup because whatever, it's gonna be there, but I don't need another hour of me rambling about Pokemon on my stream, so I'll save it to YouTube and all will be well. If there is anyone watching, hello. If you're waiting to watch on YouTube, then hello YouTube. Provided that this works and everything. Yeah. No, that's not there. Yeah, I said in the previous thing, I am definitely going to be in a situation where I screw up these puzzles a lot. Yeah, so that was the wrong way to do it. I've done this like a million times, and yet still can't quite get it right. Stop meddling in Team Rocket's affairs. Poison coughing. There we go. Ivysaur leveling up slowly but surely. Well, I wanted to do a longer stream tonight, so I guess I'll just do a regular length stream, but also, have the other stuff. But I don't know. Maybe that's a rite of passage, just like losing a podcast episode is with podcasting. Streaming for an extended period of time when you're not actually streaming. Found a nugget. Who has the lift key? It's this guy. Who's got 2 thumbs and the lift key? It's this guy. There goes Ivysaur. That's okay. Held their own. Yeah, I mean, catching Mew, like, yeah, in any other game would have been a huge, huge deal. But in this game, which Pokemon you catch is like so wild. Wild. Yeah, like wild Pokemon. Oh, why did I use Toxic? Yeah, occasionally you're going to see the corners of my green screen no matter what. But, you know, it is what it is. Pretty happy with my little backdrop. With my various Pokemon fan arts. Not perfect, and I should probably have at least one more right above me. One more Pokemon represented, but I'm still getting the hang of this whole streaming thing. Perhaps someday. No more room for items. What's not important? Bike voucher. Escape rope. Paralyze heal. Because I feel like there's like an important thing here somewhere. Okay, so no room for items. Don't worry about it. I'm going to actually put away some of my items that are not important. No, not Bill's PC. Corn's PC. Yeah, like all this stuff. I'll hang on to the bike voucher for now because eventually I'll find myself back there and probably want to trade it in for the bike. All right. I am going to figure out, I'm going to figure out a background music solution one of these days. I think I say this on every episode, but yeah, I can't really do the background music when can't really do the background music when when playing at double speed, but I should just like make a playlist of video game music or something to play in the background. Or video game style music. I could probably play in my own stuff. I have a playlist that Timo sent me that I use for Star Wars card stuff that I could use. Oh, there's no card key, but it's locked this one time. Yeah, okay, I do go through here. So this one I remember. I should set it on like 1,000 times speed. I have the key. Did I put the lift key away? Or did I didn't have room for it. Okay, now I gotta remember where he was. I think it's that guy. Nope. It's this guy. A dire hit. Another one of those items that no one in the history of the world has ever used. You know, one of these days, I feel like anytime there's like an item like that, I'm gonna like find out that it's actually the best item in the game. Dire hits and X attacks and all that other stuff. That's not the floor I wanted to go to. I was too fast. Yep. Team Rocket's rockin', rockin' trouble, duckin' trouble, double trouble, big trouble's gonna follow you. Team Rocket's rockin'. I'll just sing the background music. Okay, I'm not just gonna spam Machamp for this whole battle. Although, looks like my team is actually in worse shape. I must have forgotten to heal them when I went to the Pokemon Center. It happens. It's okay. This is just the first time I fight Giovanni. I fight him 2 more times after this. Thanks, Zeke's. Zeke's just popped in, says he's loving the backdrop. Yeah, like I said earlier in the stream, kind of threw it together. I think I need one more Pokemon above me, and then there's a few other spots that could probably be tweaked. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way it looks. Just trying to be more legit or whatever. Okay, not gonna spam everybody with Machamp. Yeah. So they are MS Paint images that I use for Beyond Bulbasaur. So yes, I did draw them. The story behind my MS Paint drawings is that I've made a lot of audio content over the years. And not trying to throw shade at anyone, but there were a handful of people that I knew who were visual artists who would, because every single time you create an audio thing, you have to draw a picture for it. And so, and I, not a guy that can draw pictures. And so I would have people that said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do I'm gonna make you a logo for your podcast," and it would just kind of never happen. The Kitchen Finks podcast, we had somebody that was gonna do a logo for it, and we did 75 episodes over the course of 2 or 3 years, and never finished the logo. And not that that's again, no shade towards people. Not that there's anything, not that I have anything against, not that I'm entitled to other people's artwork, obviously, and not in a position where I can pay for that, where I could like commission professionals or whatever. So I just decided one day, well, I'm just gonna make this stuff in MS Paint, and it's not gonna be necessarily pretty, but maybe I'll do it enough that I get good at it, or maybe the aesthetic will just be, super basic MS Paint drawings. And then when we started Beyond Bulbasaur, I thought it would be fun to do Pokemon drawings, especially because I realized cartoon characters are generally actually relatively easy to draw because the people that draw them have to draw them 1,000 times. So they're, usually relatively basic. You draw them on a huge, thing, wherever the camera is. You draw them on a huge thing, and then you make them a little teeny tiny postage stamp, and they can't see all the things you did wrong. So they generally come out looking halfway decent, and then some of them look horrible, and I just don't use them again for anything besides the episode artwork. And now when I post episodes of Beyond Bulbasaur, I do a capture of the MS Paint window, and it's like Bob Ross. There's about 3 or 4 of those on the YouTube Kendall cast. Also, right now, that's the only way you can access my podcasts because archive.org got a DDoS attack on it recently, and they're still getting everything sort of fixed up. I specifically said I wasn't going to spam Machamp. I guess Machamp's like the only guy that's still alive. Machamp and Firo. But yeah, so kind of in a I'm a little bit of a buzzing in the back of my mind that all my podcasts, RSS feeds and everything are on archive, and hopefully things don't go away. I have everything backed up and everything, so it's not like it would just completely cease to exist, but were I to have those problems, I'd have to figure out exactly what was worth, reposting and find another service. It would be a whole thing, but they seem to be getting stuff back up on archive right now, so it should be fine. Okay, let's try remembering to heal my Pokemon here. All right. Fly over to Lavender Town. I want to know what I'm going to run into in the Pokemon Tower. Yeah, it is Pokemon Tower, right? All right, so here's my favorite. My favorite conspiracy theory from Gen 1 is that the reason that your rival is here is that when you were on the SSN and you fought your rival, there wasn't a Pokemon Center nearby because it was, he stayed on the ship when it left, and you fainted his Raticate, and then because the Raticate was unable to get the help it needed, and so it died, and that's why your rival is at Pokemon Tower mourning his dead Raticate, and that's why you never see Raticate again. It has nothing to do with the fact that Raticate sucks, and nobody would ever play Raticate in the second half of the game. But I don't know, like that. There's also a conspiracy theory involving uh, involving like kids in Japan like committing suicide from the creepy because the Japanese version of the game has different music for Lavender Town. But I don't like that one as much. Yeah, plenty of conspiracy theories in this middle part of the game. I forget. That's the third one that I brought up tonight. But the Lieutenant Surge one I talked about well off camera. Lieutenant Surge brings up the war when you're fighting him. And so there's a theory that the reason that the protagonist doesn't have a father, you only have the mother, and there generally aren't that many adult. There are only like elderly men and teenage men. There aren't a lot of like 30-year-old men in the Pokemon games. And so there's a theory that like the reason that the Pokemon exist has to do with or like there was like a nuclear war that they were created in. Although Lieutenant Surge specifically says that the Pokemon saved him in the war, so I don't know all the details of it. This is all, and all these I need to actually look up some of these conspiracy theories, like in more see with more depth. Like this is just stuff that I heard on a podcast years ago. Back when you could just call a podcast topic name podcast because it was Pokemon Podcast. I doubt there are any left. Smell you later. One time I needed a top 8 Pokemon conspiracy theories. I don't know if there are 8 of them is the problem. Like, because there's those 3. Let me think if there's any other. There's Ditto. The idea that Ditto evolved from Mew because they're the only 2 Pokemon in Gen 1 that can learn Transform. I mean, my theory is that Agatha, I don't know how much this is a conspiracy theory as much as like it's in the text, but that Agatha had a romance with Professor Oak. I'm sure there's stuff dealing with later games, but I feel like those are the big ones. Yeah, the weirdness surrounding Lavender Town. Cubone is a sad Charmander. Where's his mom's skull? Yeah. I don't know. I don't know that I'd heard that one. It makes sense. Actually, that makes even more sense with regional variants. Maybe there's a regional variant of Charmander that is a rock type. Okay, let's stop using the attack that doesn't affect Jinx over and over again. Also, I need to stop just spamming Machamp. More useless. Kangaskhan. Just recently did an episode on Kangaskhan. Golduck. Another freshwater. Scyther. Scyther was one of my favorites when I was younger. See if we can catch him. I don't even know if I'll use him, but Scyther in the TCG. Seems like Scyther... I don't know what Scyther does in the TCG, but seems like he would be good because he's a fully evolved single. Wild Flareon. That's cool. I like running into these Pokemon that you would never that like in basically no other game have they ever been available wild. Oh, that does sound familiar. Sword Dance for one leaf energy would double his second attack advantage. I think I played him in the Game Boy game that I played earlier this year. Yeah, that sounds familiar. 3 colorless with 30 damage. Sword Dance doubles the next attack and 70 HP. Yeah. Very, very solid. Very solid. Okay. Well, there goes Persian. All right, Executor. See what you can do. That. Okay, good. Soft boiled. Okay. There we go. Paralyzed. Now I should be able to catch him. Need to get a better ball. Man. I've always said like I would kind of like to get into the Pokemon TCG, but I feel like it's not really a card game for 30 something overweight men. Scyther, Hitmonchan, Electabuzz, and Fossil Magmar were the core of the Haymaker deck early on. See, I feel like, man, that sounds cool. I also feel like I was a weird age for Pokemon. I think I was just a little bit, or maybe I just wasn't in that, in that world or whatever, but I might have been just like a little bit too young to play competitively in the card game. But, or maybe I was just the right age, but I just didn't have a friggin', any money. But I was just like the absolute oldest that you could be and play the video game without feeling embarrassed about it. Because I played, and I was like a little reluctant because I was just as much as I am now. I was a contrarian when I was a kid, but it was like summer of '99. Yeah, it was my 12th birthday that I got, a Game Boy Color. Had to use my birthday money from my grandma to buy the game because my parents would only buy me the actual system. They didn't buy me a game to go with it. But still worth it. And still grateful that they, did as much as they did. Because, it was $70 in 1999 money, which is like, I don't know, probably $700 in modern day money. I don't know. But probably like 150 or 200. It was probably the equivalent of getting a Switch Lite. I want to catch this Charmeleon, but I have the crappy Pokeballs. I need to get the better Pokeballs. I'm just going to take him out. It's okay. I got Mew. Mew's better than Charmeleon. We'll give him one more chance. Get in the Pokeball or die. But yeah, I can't. Yeah, Charmeleon. I don't feel like fighting him. Okay, so... Oh, it's that way. Give me your soul. With your Machop. I guess they're coming out with, or they just came out with a Pokemon card like mobile app version of the game that I might give a chance to. I don't know. I guess it'll just depend what the model is. If it's like a free to play model that you don't actually have to spend that much money on, like in the vein of like a Pokemon Go kind of thing, or if it'll be more like a traditional TCG where you have to spend like $1 million billion. Yeah, you can see the edges of my green screen when I lean back like that, but it is what it is. I shouldn't have set it up for me to have to be like hunched forward to play. Can definitely see why people do headphone mics when they're playing these games, because like I don't really love being in exactly the same position the whole time. Bye, Persian. All right, Mew, do some damage. I love multiple Pokemon knowing Toxic. Toxic is one of my favorite moves. Freaking X this, X that. It's like Kiki. Sandslash. Big scary ghost. Okay, yeah, I think we're at the point where I am going to fight with some Machamp. Ooh, Charmander. Oh, there's so many of these guys. Uh-oh, this is going to be rough. Charmander used to splash. All right. I think I have a full restore. Definitely worth it there. All right. And Cubone's mom is a Lapras. That was easy. Let's see, what's the timestamp on that? 39:13. That'll probably be my highlight if I post a highlight of this. Team Rocket shouldn't have a Mew. Guess they had Mewtwo in the show. I've still been playing UFO 50. If you watch any of my videos from the last week, you might notice that I kind of screwed up with my captures and there's some weirdness there. What happened was I looked up online how to set up a green screen in OBS, and I sort of poked around. Okay. I never used Leech Life. And yeah, sort of accidentally left the green screen filter on the capture source that I use for capturing UFO 50 games. So all the UFO 50 games didn't have any green in them if you watch the ones from the last week. So yeah, it doesn't. Not my finest moment, but I think probably nobody will notice, except for you guys who, you know, it's an Easter egg for the Kendall Cast super fans. Okay, I have a feeling I'm gonna black out here because I don't think I'm gonna be able to beat like 5 of these guys with this setup. I think, yeah, because I think there's 5 of them. Okay, well, he has a Magikarp, but it's probably a Magikarp that like can do stuff. Okay, took him down. All right, Firo. Ghastly, the first thematically accurate Pokemon that I've run into in this entire run. Are there only 3 of them? I don't know what. I guess I was thinking of Nugget Bridge that had 5. So he's ground type. Or he's ground type. Okay. I got this. Kabuto. I'm here of my own free will. Can't calm the soul of Cubone's mother. Luckily, somebody was here to fight it with stuff. All right, let's heal up. heal up and fight some Snorlaxes. Or this guy. Submission. Raichu. So going through this, the random typing on the Pokemon isn't my favorite thing because it does actually kind of break some of the immersion. But I really like just running into such a diverse array of Pokemon from the get-go. It really, I think, enhances the experience. So many Pokemon games, like they make certain Pokemon rare, or they, the game doesn't open up until pretty late. Like, I think that's the problem with that's the one problem with Gen 1 is, or at least the biggest problem, is that the game kind of doesn't open up until you're basically as far as I am now. And you've kind of, a lot of times you've kind of figured out what who your team is. All right. All right, so my computer keeps telling me my phone's battery is low. All right. So this is one of the things I've been most curious about in the entire game, is what happens when I play the Poké Flute. Is this going to be Snorlax, or is it going to be a random Pokemon? Oh, shoot. Yeah. How many Pokeballs do I have? Doesn't really matter, right? I have 10 Pokeballs. Well, we'll create a save state, just in case this is something really cool and I screw it up. So we're at 47 minutes and 36 seconds. All right. Corin played the Poké Flute. It's like doo-ba-doo-ba-doo, doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Snorlax woke up. It attacked in a grumpy rage. Is it actually going to be a Snorlax? It's a Dodrio. That will never get old. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not catching a Dodrio. Well, he kicked Machamp's butt there. All right. Can I make it to Fuchsia City? Used to not like Zeke says he used to not like digs like moves like dig and fly. I thought they were OP. Yeah, they're interesting because it's an interesting trade-off because it takes two moves, but they can't they miss on the second move. I would say statistically I think they do like yeah, it's a weird trade-off because they take two turns but they protect, yeah, but they also, I mean, they aren't very good. Like, depending on where you are in the game, dropping some frames there. Depending where you are in the game, like there's just better attacks. Like that don't take two turns. But I do think it's an interesting trade-off because like there's certain attacks that can, like Swift hits even if they are flown up in the air. If you're faster than your opponent and they fly, then you can fly in response and then it misses, which I think is kind of cool. Yeah, kind of the way that you can use those moves to your advantage is it's like it's not like super high level strategy, but it's like high. It's the kind of strategy that like makes you feel smart if you're a 12-year-old, which I think is like kind of one of the reasons that this game is good because 12-year-olds can memorize all the rock paper scissors but it kind of they got to put something into it to be able to pull it off. But it's doable, but they have to work for it. Which is kind of the point of, I think that's kind of the point of all video games, to have challenges that are very achievable, but also make you feel satisfied when you achieve them, which is something that I really didn't. I mean, people like talked about Dark Souls and it was like, oh, and then finally when you defeat the boss, it's such a great sense of achievement. And I never really bought into that until I stopped achieving things in my own life with any sort of consistency. And then now it's like, okay, well, at least even if everything else is in shambles, even if I'm still in a job that I'm not particularly fond of, even if I never have, even if I'm barely making rent, at least I was able to beat Margit in Elden Ring, or at least I was able to roll credits in this random game from 10 years ago. Or at least I was able to put out 7 YouTube shorts about the UFO 50 collection. I was able to get a gold cartridge in the UFO 50 collection. Seriously, though, if you haven't been playing the UFO 50 collection, you owe it to yourself to pick it up and give it a shot, because it's just a lot of fun. It's the most fun it's the most exciting game that I've played since Elden Ring. But this one, you don't need a powerful system. You can use your crappy word processing computer from 10 years ago. You can do whatever you need to. It's 500 megabytes. Oh my gosh, stop missing. Too many minimizes. I'm going to black out here. There goes another blackout. I think I'm just going to try to make it to fuchsia here. Then we can call it. Because once I finish the stream, then I can switch over to UFO 50. Because I could just stream UFO 50. Might do that later in the week. I don't know. Just going to try to spam my way through these guys. The taste of your lips. Good song. It's my wife's favorite Britney Spears. This guy that keeps blacking me out. If he blacks me out again, I might call the night. Because starting to run out of steam here. Like I said, I was streaming for half an hour before I started streaming. Just realized that I have the Poke Flute, and so I should be waking up my Pokemon when they go to sleep. All right, you finish them off. You found a moonstone? I think I have a moonstone. Blastoise. There goes Machamp. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it after he blacks me out here. I'm running out of steam. I don't feel like I'm that entertaining anymore. But yeah, like I said, podcasts are currently not available on podcatchers, but you can still listen to stuff on the YouTube page, Kendallcast Network, I think, or Kendallcast. I think maybe it's just Kendallcast on YouTube. and watch out for that stuff. If I have a new episode of the of Stars and Wars, the actual play show, fully edited, just waiting for the game to, or just waiting for the game. Just waiting for Archive to come back online. If it doesn't come back online in the next day or two, I'm going to just post it directly to YouTube. So just, be on the lookout on the YouTube. It doesn't hurt to subscribe to the YouTube page, even if you usually just listen to the audio versions of the shows, because there's some cool video stuff that I do on there, and including this. It would be really weird if you were watching this and don't watch my YouTube, but who knows? Maybe you only follow me on Twitch and on this stuff. So, yeah, go on YouTube. But thanks for watching. We will see you next time. Remember, you are the very best, like no one ever was. See you around, Zeeks.